Kappa. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mabi. The Yu-Gi-Oh franchise is extremely nostalgic for me. I used to watch the original series when it came out here in the West. I used to collect actual physical cards. I still have them somewhere, and of course I played the video games. The first ever Yu-Gi-Oh game I played was a Japanese exclusive port called Dark Duel Stories. Believe it or not, it was on the original Game Boy, and after a lot of trial and error, I was able to get the hang of it and get past the language barrier. That was back in 1999, and then that game only had 720 of the available cards. Today I'm going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelists, and that game has about 7,000 plus. Legacy of the Duelists came out in 2014 on consoles. It was released as a port on Steam in 2016, and this is the version that I'm going to be talking about. If for some reason you clicked on this video without knowing anything about Yu-Gi-Oh! And how it works, let me give you a very vague description on how it plays out. Players collect and create cards to form decks. They attack their opponents using various strategies to reduce their life points to 0 to win games. That's pretty much it. Legacy of the Duelist is the latest of the series to be brought over to the West and has a huge variety of content. There is a story mode that if you're a fan of the anime, you'll be extremely familiar with the whole campaign. It takes you from Yu-Gi-Oh's humble beginnings, from King of Games, all the way to the latest season currently airing, which is Arc V. The campaign plays out in one-on-one duels, with you taking control of one of the many iconic decks that you see throughout the series. Each season that you can play has around 25 duels, give or take, and you can play them again in reverse duels to mix things up. Between each match, you'll be run through a little quick text cutscene that stays fairly true to the events in the anime. Throughout completing matches in a campaign, you'll earn battle points, which is used to purchase cards and enter drafts. You'll get quite a bit of points throughout the campaign, and very rarely did I find myself grinding points to find specific cards I needed to complete my deck. The graphics in this game aren't crazy spectacular. Scenes sadly only play out with cutouts of the characters moving back and forth and switching up expressions. Every once in a while during duels, iconic monsters pop out of their cards when you attack. For instance, Yugi's Dark Magician will do a Dark Magic Blast, and Dark Magic Girl will pop up, and Blue Eyes White Dragon will do its thing. Because they stayed so close to the original anime's dialogue during the campaign, I would have really loved to see animated scenes play out. Honestly, the best looking part about this game has to be the cards themselves. They're not too hard to see when on the field, and they look absolutely awesome when you zoom in on them. The music in the game is fairly okay. You don't get the iconic tracks from the anime, nor sound bites from characters. It was honestly pretty forgettable. I found myself muting the game and playing my own soundtrack in the background, which worked out pretty well. That aside, you don't usually play a Yu-Gi-Oh game for the soundtrack, you play it for the gameplay. And this game has nothing short of content for hardcore and casual duelists looking to pretty much get back into Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, there are a lot of things to cover, so let's start with card collecting. As I said before, you earn points to buy cards and packs. Let me give you an example of a typical purchase. If you win a campaign match, you earn around 1 to 2,000 points. A pack contains 8 cards and you buy them for 400 points. So even if you lose a match, you get around 400. NPC battles go by really quick, so there's never a shortage of points. Even when I needed a couple of points here and there, I had fun trying out lots of decks and earning points in the process. The game does a very good job of easing you into more complex cards that you unlock. There are tutorials at the beginning of each season campaign, which shows you fusions, synchros, XCs, and pendulum. With the amount of cards to collect, I never felt too overwhelmed because you unlock cards at a nice and steady rate. Each pack that you buy from a character usually has their signature cards placed in their set. For example, if you buy Yugi cards, you'll most likely end up with Dark Magician cards. Buy Jaden cards and you'll get Synchro cards. There are a lot of card archetypes to collect and experiment with. Because the game is a port from console, I pretty much played the whole game with my Xbox One controller and it felt pretty good. Matches go by extremely smooth, except when you have a card that could be activated at any given time. Let me give you an example. Call of the Haunted is a trap card that after a turn, you can essentially activate it at any point in the match after that. The game prompts you, stopping the match, asking you if you want to use it whenever possible. You'll be clicking no a lot in this game. There is, however, a pretty fix around it that players might have looked over and it could have turned them off. So in the options, you can set the prompts to pro mode in the gameplay section, meaning that you only get the prompt when you know you want to activate it by holding down a key or a button. It saves a whole lot of time, but you have to time it perfectly, but it's still pretty fun that way. There is a draft mode included in the game where you buy tickets and receive cards in a random set to play against NPCs or other players online. You play until you win 5 or you lose 3 matches. Afterwards, you keep the cards you played, so it's a win-win, and you also get points for doing it. It's a awesome addition to Yu-Gi-Oh! I played it a bunch of times. You unlock more packs as you go along. Creating your deck is easy and seamless. You can search your whole library if you end up collecting all 7,000 with the amazing magnitude of filters that they have. There's a function that allows you to match archetypes by clicking on a card and pressing the related card feature. It makes it, for instance, if you click on a Harpy-related card, it will show you the magic, traps, monster, and any other cards that are typically used in a Harpy deck. It's fun making new decks and trying them out against the computer. It's really, really easy. Trying them against the computer, but that's where Legacy of the Duelist falls off for me there. The online multiplayer community is almost non-existent. As recording this video, there's only about 800 people playing the game. Now, this is on a Friday afternoon, according to Steam statistics, and the game just launched about a week ago. Every time I search for an online match, whether it be normal or ranked mode, it turned up empty. I even created a lobby with 0 rules applied, so anyone can join and still nothing after a good long 10-minute wait. I went to the discussion page to see what people were saying about this, and there were a couple of threads of people saying like, don't worry that the online community is dead, we're all just waiting until we get our perfect cards, our perfect deck, and then we're going to play online. And you know, it might be a good thing to read that, but to casual duelists like me who play every so often, those kind of statements kind of kill my motivation to play for fun and experiment online, knowing that, hey, maybe the next time I play, it's going to be someone with a crazy perfect deck that they took, hours and hours to complete, and I have no chance. It just kind of kills it a little bit, but, it would be nice to see just people playing online for fun, just randomly putting things together, but I've tried. I can't find any matches. Maybe now, though, but I don't know. Another huge thing that people complained about, and I kind of agree on them with this one, was the price of the DLCs. The game itself is only $20, which is a really awesome price for the amount of Yu-Gi-Oh! That you're getting. However, if you want to buy every single piece of DLC in the game, be prepared to shell out around $80, around $84. Each DLC costs around $4.99, and what it adds is 2 pre-constructed decks of cards that you can collect and use, as well as duelist challenges. Now, what are those? It's pretty much harder NPCs. That's all it is, with pretty much crazier decks. There's no way I'm buying any of that anytime soon. I might think about it if it was $2.99 as opposed to $4.99 per each, because that's a lot of freaking money, man. It's for a card game, but I guess, they did release it cheap, so I can't hark on them too much for that, but yeah, no, not for me. With those 2 minor complaints out of the way, of the multiplayer being a barren wasteland and the DLC draining your wallet, I actually had a lot of fun with this game. I played it for over 20 hours already on the Steam version, and pretty much If you're a solitary duelist who love beating down on NPCs and collecting cards through earning points, then this is your game, right up your alley. If you've played Yu-Gi-Oh on like the GBA or stuff like that, the DS, and you didn't care about multiplayer, you're gonna love it. It's a great game. So happy I picked it up. Has all the new cards, mix and matching it together. It also has awesome ban lists and limitation lists. It has the new rules as well. It works out perfectly. So this is why I'm gonna give Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist a final rating of 7.4 out of 10. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.